What do we have here? We have a 1993 Ford Transit camper. Now, can I fix it without diagnosing it? In other words, just from listening to what the customer told me, I'm going to fix this, I think. Sorted. Hello and welcome to another Bodgit and Leggit garage. Now, this is an old Ford tranny. You've got to love them. 2.5 litre diesel engine, one of the best engines they've ever made. The turbo one was a bit but this particular one, 2.5 litre. What's a B? Where's he gone? Oh, it's gone. Absolutely bulletproof. Well, you say that, but it's broken down. B, he's saying hello again. Hello, B. That's a big B. Come and say hello. Anyway, I think he likes me. Where's he gone? Yeah. Come back. It's like near enough landed on me. Shame he didn't. I would have showed him to you. Anyway, so what was happening with this is customer was driving along, all of a sudden started losing power, and kicking out absolutely tons of black smoke. Now, these things really don't give too many problems. They really don't. But from what I can gather, I will kind of show you, if I can, the black smoke sticking out. But it sounds to me EGR valve related, and it also sounds like maybe the EGR valve is stuck open. That's what it sounds like to me. I haven't driven it because it just doesn't really move under its own power, so I can't drive it. Obviously, no error codes, no engine lights, no nothing like that. But one thing I do know with these old engines is you're best off just blocking the EGR valve. 100%. You don't need anything, you just block it. You don't need to remap anything, you don't need to do anything, you just block it. So we're going to do that regardless. I think that's the issue. So you can see the bottom ones are quite rusty, but the two top ones here look quite good, so that's what I'm going to do. So a quick test for people, because I happen to know quite a bit about these old trannies. I love them. My Cosworth Transit is actually older than this. Right, just from the wing alone you can tell what mark of transit this is. So in other words, I want you to put down, even though I've kind of told you the year, which kind of spoils it, but just from the wing alone you can tell what mark transit it is, because with these transits, most wings from like 1986 I believe to like 2000 will all fit, but they're slightly different, and you actually know the differences. They will physically fit, but they just look slightly different. And anyway, just a stupid little quiz for you. Right, so what we got to do is I'm going to show you this smoke, try and show you how easy or hard it is to start, and we'll go from there. Right, well, let's start. It's been here for a few weeks, I haven't touched it, so maybe it won't. Oh, she's quite hard to start. Like I said, it has been here for a few weeks. I haven't touched it. These normally are bulletproof to start. There we go. Good old street to the fan belt. Now, this is a push-rod engine. These engines are great, even if you get the timing wrong, or even if the timing belt snaps, doesn't do any damage. Awesome. Let me see. You can see in the mirror what I'm talking about, this smoke. Now, when you actually drive it, that smoke is a million times worse. So I'm going to try and set up the camera, just reverse this and go forward to see if you can see the smoke. absolutely typical. It didn't do it as much as it did before, but I can't reverse it and drive it enough because I haven't got the room and there's just no power in it at all. But I want to show you something really freaky, and the only reason I know this is true is because I witnessed it myself. This came to me on the back of a recovery lorry, and when I opened the door you can even see some fragments. All the plates are all over the shop, and so they come from up here all the way up from this here. All them plates, you know, proper plates, okay, they were all on the floor. They were not smashed. The plastic plates, yes, the plastic plates were the ones that smashed. Can you believe it? The porcelain plates didn't, but the plastic plates broke. Unbelievable. Right, the first thing I'm going to do is just blank off this EGR valve, because it's going to need doing regardless whether it fixes this or not. It just gives the van a lot more power. It's just a lot better. These engines just run a lot better once that EGR valve is blanked off, and I've got a funny feeling that that's what's causing me the issue. So we're going to do that first, and then if that doesn't work we'll actually kind of go for it. But like I said, this is something that needs to be done anyway. This is part of owning one of these engines. You just need to do it. So I'm going to show you a little trick. I've got the two T40 bolts off, and this isn't like a traditional EGR valve like you'd be used to in a modern car that, you know, is computer controlled and blah 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 blah. This is all vacuum. So open it up. Let me get the light on. You can see in there. Can we see in there? At the minute it's closed because the engine isn't on. When I start the engine there's going to be massive vacuum from in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, you've seen how much smoke came out when I revved it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the engine. I'm just going to put this plate onto it. It's way too thick. I'm not going to use this plate, but there'll be enough suction there just to hold this plate on in place and essentially blocking it. Now it's not going to be a completely perfect seal, but you're going to get the idea. Then I'm going to start it and I'm going to rev it, and I guarantee you, well, I say I guarantee you, you can see all the soot even just revving it the last few times it's come out of it though. If my theory is correct, and it is, that we should have a hell of a lot less smoke. Maybe not, you know, completely smoke free because we're not doing a complete perfect seal, but we get the idea. This also should start so much easier now. These things start so nice. Yeah, look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful. See if I can do this and hold the camera at the same time. I don't think I can. 1 second. I can't, but you can hear it. When I put this plate on, that EGR valve should open. But I'll try and get all that on camera. Right, the plate is on. That EGR valve kind of has opened. But let's rev this now and see what we get. So much better. So much better. If I take this off, kind of just put that in there. It revved up. It felt like it revved up a lot easier. Let's do that again. You can even hear, I don't know if you heard the engine kind of die a little bit there. So much more smoke. So I'm going to make a blanking plate for that. This is what I'm going to make my blanking plate out of, and if you see the shape of that, can you see all the different shapes in there? Believe it or not, I actually made that on the lip of the just under this lip of the 4-post lift here, so just underneath there, and a couple of gas bottles. That's how I made that, and that was for the Mercedes W115 sill, and I've done a video on that. So if you want to see how I handmade this sill with very, very simple basic tools, go and check that out. Now what I've got is I've got the original gasket of the EGR valve, so I'm just going to draw around that, and I'm going to use this steel here to make the blanking plate. Now we have to save every bit of steel we've got, because believe it or not, I'm making something out of this. This little bit of steel here cost over 150 euros. Absolutely redonkulous. Just 1-inch box, a round bar and a flat plate. I mean, like, seriously. So there's our blanking plate. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is, I still use the original seal. So I'm going to use the original seal on the manifold, but then I'm going to put my blanking plate behind it. And the reason is, just because the little lip that's here, look, see that? Just so I know it'll definitely seal. It's not the end of the world, but that's just the way I like to do it, because at least then the engine side of things is sealed, so no air can escape, because air might escape through this or in between the plate and the engine, where when you put this back on it won't. And then the fact that there's no hole here will make it easier for me to we'll blank it off essentially. Right, couple of things. It's normally easier to drill the holes before you cut it out of the plate, because you've just got a bit more to hold. Not all the time, because sometimes you can then cut out the plate, put it in the vise and drill the hole. But with this being quite thin metal, even if you do that, you've only got this much in the vise and it can bend. You know, it can bend the thing over. We can flatten this out with a hammer. It's not a big deal, but it's just normally easier. Also, I'm just going to go for it with one drill bit. This is only thin metal. But if you was to get a really sharp drill bit going through thin metal, what I've normally found is it goes through obviously really nice and easy, but then at the end of it, it kind of kicks and it can bend and twist the metal at the end, and it's really annoying. Now, I'm not saying a dull drill bit is better, because in most circumstances it just isn't. But we'll see now if this decides to go on me. This drill bit's really bad. Yeah, it's bad. Come on. Little drill bit. Remember what I said a few seconds ago about having a blunt drill bit is so much better to going through steel? Yeah, changed my mind. Normally it is, but that is really bad. It really is bad, that drill bit. Right, let's try a blunt step drill bit. There we go. One hole drilled in a piece of metal. This is riveting stuff, isn't it? Drilling stuff, not riveting. Ah, look at that. Perfect circle on my finger. Now I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. Why are you using this? Well, because the first bit is snapped off for a start, the first thing, and from like here, this is all completely destroyed, but from here it's okay. That drill bit in the drill is still better than the beginning of this. much hassle for 2 little holes. But I still state with the drill bit, it's still kind of easy with thin metal for having a drill bit that's slightly blunt, just not completely and utterly blunt like the one I've got. Now I've got me 2 holes, let me just cut this out. Boom. Right, you've all heard the expression knowledge is power, and I don't really buy into all that. And the reason is, sometimes when you know too much, you get yourself into trouble. I was only talking about this to someone the other day. Like, I naturally immediately thought EGR valve. Now, I still could be right, but I could also be wrong, which we'll have to go into it and diagnose a bit better. This is a thing that needs to be redone regardless. But sometimes when you know too much, you just go in and then you realize, oh shit, I should have taken all my steps. Just like this is what I was talking about before with someone where, let's say on electric vehicles for example, you're not going to really find a guy that's just qualified, just out of college, just out of on electric vehicles. You're not going to really find him electrocuting himself. Now I say that, but you know, he's going to be very careful. It's been drilled into him that don't do this and don't do that and don't do that, so he's going to be safe for, you know, a good few years. It's the guy that's been doing it for 10-15 years that's never had a problem doing stuff and thinking, oh, I can do this because I've never had an issue, and bang. So yeah, just, I could be completely wrong here. I don't think I am, but I could be. So I'm going to put the plate, the actual gasket in first. I'll take it for a spin. Now normally, and I say normally because, you know, there's always other things, but when you get in a diesel, you get lots of black smoke and no power. It's normally too much air. Again, I say normally because there is potentially other issues, but you know, you're kind of looking at EGR valve systems and that type of systems, vacuum leaks and unmonitored air and stuff like that normally. Come on. Now, let's start this and rev it up and see what happens. Hopefully you saw that. Initially we had a little bit of smoke because there's going to be, you know, a lot of soot built up in the exhaust, and now when I was beginning to rev it, it got less and less to the point where it got kind of any, but we still don't know if we got the power, so we need to take it for a test drive. Right, this is a left hooker tranny. Steering wheel is on the wrong side, it's on the left, which is just not right, and I say that to all my American friends and Dutch friends and Dutch acquaintances and all that out there. I should really be concentrating more on driving than videoing, but I should hopefully know just by inside the lot itself whether this has worked. It feels like it has, because even me reversing it now has a lot more power than what it did a second ago. Right, let's see. Well, that's not first gear. Yeah, that's third. There we go. Boom! Power Power is back, people. Power is back. Awesome. Job done. It's a job done. I know what some people are going to say. Well, you should have put the seal on the other side. You should have put them on both sides and all this. Well, no, you just don't. I've done these before, even in modern vehicles, and I haven't put gaskets either side of it. I've just put the plate in, and there really isn't an issue. I just put the plate in because I have it, and it's just a little bit easier. This side of it, so the EGR or the exhaust side of it, if there is a little leak there, which there isn't here, it will carbon itself up very, very quickly, and it's not going to be a problem. But I mean, look, there's no harm in putting one of them plates either side of it if you go out and buy them. You know, it really isn't a problem. It's not going to cause you an issue. It's just not necessary. But for the people in the comments that are just going to say you do, no matter what I do, they'll always say the opposite because they think they're clever. So if I say this, they'll say the opposite. So I can never win. Well, I do. I always win in the comments. But anyway, you can see, oh, genuine filter lock. So yeah, we are essentially good to go. I had to take it for a proper drive because I haven't got the shed locked up, so I couldn't. I just took it down the lane just to see if I got power, and I knew instantly it was okay. But I will take it for a proper drive just to be on the safe side. But as always, hope it helps. Please like, share, comment and subscribe. Don't forget, links up here, links down below. Oh, also let me know, do you think knowing too much sometimes is a problem? Put it down in the comments. Has it fucked you up in the past because you've kind of gone for the obvious one when it wasn't? Do you know? Anyway, as always, get your hands dirty. See you for the next one. Sorted.